Okay, so this video, I'll say at the front that it's optional because one, I don't think it ends up making a big. So it's going to be on the details of planning as argument, and in the handout you'll see that I say it's optional. I make it optional one because I don't think it ends up making a big difference to planning as argument, and it doesn't end up making much of a difference to planning as discussion with Dennett. If you're like scram for time, or then feel free to move on to the next video. For those of you who are interested in digging in, though, hold right on for a few more minutes. This video is not even going to be that long anyway. Okay, so planning gives some details for why we should think that the probability of R, our cognitive faculties, are reliable given N and E, naturalism, evolution, is low. And to do that, he's going to split into two types of materialism. One is, on the handout, non-reductive materialism. This is the idea that mental properties supervene on material properties. Okay, but they don't reduce to them, or they're not identical to them. Okay, that's what makes it non-reductive. And so the best way I could draw the picture there is like, okay, so there's a person in his brain, and then you have the contents of those beliefs kind of like floating above. So the content properties is determined by the physical properties. Okay, that's what the supervenes ultimately means. But it's not identical to the physical properties. Okay, so the brain isn't yeah. Well, I'll just keep it like that. That's opposed to reductive materialism, where you have the contents are actually identical to the neurophysiological properties. Mental properties are identical to the brain properties, basically. So I kind of smushed it into the head to kind of indicate that it's there, it's in the brain. That's what the contents are, as opposed to this where it's kind of like floating above, which denotes more like supervenience. Okay, and so we can look at the official definitions. A properties. He distinguishes between two types of supervenience: logical supervenience and nomological supervenience. A properties logically supervene on B properties, means any possible worlds with the same B properties have the same A properties. Okay, so what would that mean? In any way the world could have been, whenever you have the brain states in a certain way, you're going to have the same mental states. So in any world where you have brains, arranged like mine, or so that you have these neurophysiological properties, you're going to have the same pains, feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and other mental states, okay, or mental properties. All right, that's logical supervenience. That's separate from nomological supervenience, so that's the other option. A properties nomologically supervene on B properties equals any properties, any possible worlds with the same physical laws, with the same property, B properties have the same A properties. Okay, so in any other possible world where the laws of physics are the same, where you have these brain properties, you're going to have the same mental properties kind of floating above. It's not literally floating above, but the point is that it's not identical. And so whenever you see the word nomological in philosophy, nomological always has to do with laws, particularly like natural laws or physical laws. So the difference between logical supervenience and nomological supervenience is logical supervenience of, let's say, mental properties on physical properties, let's say, in any world, even where the physical laws are different, even where like the gravity law or F equals ma, or like whatever laws of nature there are, even if they were different, okay, you're going to have this logical supervenience where whenever you have these same NP properties, they all have the same mental properties. Whereas nomological supervenience restricts it only to the same worlds where you have the same physical laws, while you have the same mental properties. Okay? Now that's all different from reductive materialism, where the mental properties and the physical properties are just the same thing. It's not like one's floating above the other. So then you have identity, and they're going to be together across worlds anyway. Okay, now what planning is big claim is going to be is, I guess it's not on the board, is on the handout. He's going to argue that the probability that our faculties are reliable, given naturalism, evolution, and either LNM, logical supervenience of content properties on near physical logical properties, or we can make it NNM, right? Non-logical supervenience, or reductive materialism, reduction of mental properties to material properties. On all of those options, the likelihood that our faculties are reliable is going to be low. And the way he wants to argue for this is, look, in each of these cases, and he goes through them step by step on pages 18 and 19. So is, look, as long as the neurophysiological properties are doing work, okay, if the content properties are supervening on the physical properties, still, whatever they are, whether they're true or false, it's still going to be the neurophysiological properties that are producing the adaptive behavior. That's the case for supervenience. But what about for reduction? Suppose that the content properties are identical to the neurophysiological properties. Okay, again, he's going to say, and this is on page 20, even if they're the same thing, whatever that content is, whether it's true or false, it's not going to matter for the behaviors, because it's still the neurophysiological properties that are doing the work. Whether the contents are true or false, or whatever the contents are, it's not going to make a difference to adaptivity. Okay, so now, yeah, so that's the gist. Again, this video, like nothing from this video would be on a test or anything, so it's more just for those of you who wanted to dig in a little deeper. So yeah, we'll move on to the next video, and we're just about done.